That's what I'm saying.
So the
You're asking me either just
the yellow right there by your knee, that's the park brakes. Pushing it, and then drop her into gear.
Well, now get ahead of that over right. She's floored. Feels good, doesn't it, John? So when
Now the exciting part, John. Go at that green switch.
this one?
Yes. Now isn't that fun? Didn't that feel good? That feels good right there.
Means it works. That's good.
Make a note.
All right, we're just down here at Sean's place checking out potentially the Cutter bus. Took it for a test drive, just looking it over. Feeling pretty good about it. A few things to get fixed up like soon, but other than that, just need to get it wrapped. Need to get a few things done in here so we can have a little mobile podcast studio and camper. Be sweet. Welcome to the Cuttercast Vlogcast. My name is Seth Larson, and I feel less than ideal. Yeah, I've been blessed to contract the man-made government-supported plague known as coronavirus. My daughter got it, and then my wife got it, and now I have it. Luckily, I'm feeling good enough to edit an episode, well, technically 2 episodes that we filmed earlier in the year. Let's see. My temperature is a hit and miss. I have one and then it leaves, but I'm feeling good right now. I felt good enough to get something edited. They were just on last episode. They're 2 studs. We love them. Tyrell Gray and Sean Degrey are back with stories of an Alaskan guide. These are 2 hilarious stories that you are going to love, and I'm in the mood for a laugh. I need one. I hope you are too. So without further ado, here's a foxy bear and chest staples. All right. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Cuttercast, an Alaskan Guide, Stories of an Alaskan Guide episode. Once again joined by Sean Degrey. Sean,
I got one for you today.
You got a story for us today.
Yeah,
Give it to us.
This one's a shorty, but it's a goodie. So I've had a few experiences where I've been really scared up there and nervous about being eaten alive by a bear.
Yeah, because there's
that chance.
There's bears there, and
this is one of those stories.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
So we're out in this valley. It's a high density bear area. Bears everywhere, but it's also wide open. So the wind is cranking if it decides to, and there's it's full exposure. So what we did is we've cut into the alders there to put the tents and kind of hide them from the wind. But what we also did is I had to dig myself a latrine. So we cut a hallway also into the alders and set up a latrine back there. And I think that's been the latrine forever. You just keep changing it, right? So anyway, just to give you an idea, we're in thick brush. Mm-hmm. And we're hunting bears. Well, we'd been up on the ridge glassing, and I saw this sow and 2 cubs, and they'd come close to our tents, and I'm watching them to see what they do, because normally if they smell you, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I mean fast. No, not this old gal. She came in and just kind of toured herself around with her cubs, just didn't tear anything up, just kind of sniffing things and bumping things in camp. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't good. This is horrible.
Like too friendly.
Yeah. So then they leave and they go about their business and disappear. So that night comes and we had a nice dinner, and I typically sleep with earplugs in because there's too much noise of what I think's a bear going to eat me, so I want to sleep. So I just put in earplugs and figure I'll know when it bites me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wake up, man, and I've got the screamers. Like, this boy's got to go, and he's got to go now. And it's dark outside. It's a late September hunt for bears. Oh, I've got to go, man. So I throw on the old headlamp and head out there and walk down that scary hallway. And I'm
that would be freaky.
I'm going, and I always take my gun everywhere with me. Well, I didn't to the toilet, so I'm going about my business, and I hear something behind me. And I'm like, oh, please. So I turn on my headlamp, and I look behind me, and there's 2 eyes glowing. Man, I got up so fast, and I am not cleaned up yet. I got up. I'm tripping over my pants, running down that hallway trying to get to my gun. I get to the tent, grab my gun. I'm just sitting there. My light is on full blast. My pants are down to my ankles, and I'm like, where are you at, you son of a gun? Nothing, right? Yeah. So I'm like, holy cow, what the hell just happened? The hair on my neck had grown an inch, and so I go in the tent, go about my business cleaning up in the tent because it's a little messier than a normal job from running. So I go about my business getting all cleaned up and everything, and I can't sleep. I'm like, I know I almost got eaten alive, and if I go to sleep, that bear's going to kill me. So anyway, daylight comes and no bear attack. And I'm like, I got to go. I need to do a little investigation here and see what the hell's going on. So I go down there, and it rains there in September, late September. It's a little muddy in a few spots. And where we dig the hole, because we leave the cap so we can clean it all up, make it look good. So you go about your business, throw some dirt on it, and then when that's full, you throw your cap on, and in a week it's grown over and it looks good. So there's some mud there where the dirt is. And I'm looking around. Well, whatever this was, it cleaned out the latrine. So, I mean, in a sense, that's good because now it'll last longer. But I'm like, what the heck? And then I see the paw prints in the mud pile that I have from digging the dirt out. And they're like teeny little things. And I'm looking at them, and it's a fox prints. So now I circle back in my mind when I'm not scared of being eaten, and I'm like, those eyes were awfully low to the ground. And they were really close together. Really close together. I'm pretty sure that was a fox.
You're like not sleeping out of fear.
I knew I was going to be eaten by that bear because that sow had prepped me for somebody coming back in the night. Oh. And so I knew for sure I was going to die. So
when a fox turns into a bear.
Yeah. Hey. That's a good name.
That's a good name. Yeah.
That's a good name. When a fox turns into a bear. How about the foxy bear?
The foxy bear. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
So short and sweet, but I've got a couple other stories that are also as scary that a bear's going to eat me, none of which involved a bear. But I definitely was nervous.
You could imagine.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous. So
that's a good story.
So the fox turns into a bear, or the berry fox.
The berry fox, or whatever it ends up being.
Whatever you name it. There you go.
Good one. Thank you.
That's it.
This is another Stories of an Alaskan Guide episode. I'm here with Tyrell Gray again. And Tyrell's got a little Alaskan Guide story to share with us. What story do you have today?
You know, I was thinking about after our last one, just being prepared and being ready for, whatever situation happens. And it just reminded me, I've had a ton of just funny stories. And the majority of the time in Alaska, it is funny.
Yeah.
I know I remember listening to your interview with Sean, and you were talking about if you're with good guys, how much more fun it is, right?
Right, yeah.
And honestly, the last time I guided professionally which is another funny story, was I guided a guy from the Netherlands that had come on a paid hunt.
Yeah.
And it was a train wreck. And I just say, I'm out. I don't hunt with jerks anymore. I'm done. But I was just thinking about being prepared, and part of that is just being physically prepared, but also letting your guide know. Like being upfront and honest, right? And so I had this father-son combo. So it was actually two dads, and or actually two sons, and they brought their dads. And so the two sons were attorneys. They were in their mid-30s, and the dads were a little older, mid-60s. And so we started just kind of 4-on-1, and then so I had them for caribou and black bear, and so I killed 2 good caribou with the sons, and then another guide came in, one of our friends, Chris Daly, he came in, and he was guiding the 2 sons to try to get a black bear. So I've got the 2 dads now, and we get up in the morning, and so I'm taking a little bit easier with them. Both of them kind of had some health issues, and they didn't say anything, but they're just kind of a little slow, right?
Right.
They're not getting out of bed fast.
Right.
And so I'm cooking them breakfast. I'm trying to be like, it's going to be a great day, blah, blah, blah. And we're on this ridge called Old Telephone. It used to be the only place we could get the satellite phone to work. And it's a really cool ridge because you go off the end where our camp is, and you can see this just massive valley. Like, you can see 30 miles in both directions.
Oh, my word.
And I come over and I peek off the edge, and there's this herd of caribou coming. And back in the day, I mean, we would see literally thousands. Like, you'd see herds of, 10, 20,000 caribou. Like, they would cover a mountain.
Now, why have they just changed their migration route, or what's going on?
It's weird. So just a side note real quick. At the peak, that herd, it was the Barren Ground herd. It was over 750,000 animals.
Oh, my word.
And it literally dropped to under 200,000. And so they've done a bunch of studies, and I've read stuff that said it was predation. I've read stuff that said it was, bears, it was wolves, it was mosquitoes. And I don't know what happened. It has come back, but last time I heard, I think it's a little over 400,000 now. But it's not what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but it's not what it was.
And they're still using the same migration corridors, or?
Yeah. Basically the same corridors. There's actually an interesting book. If you guys are interested, there's a book called Alaskan Wolfman. It's about a guy named Frank Glacier.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Frank literally followed the herds, and they're in the same general area when he followed them in the 1940s.
Oh, my word.
So they haven't.
That's
like,
cool.
They migrate a little bit. It changes, but it's not like they're
I heard of that.
countries.
I completely forgot about that book.
Phenomenal
I wanted
book.
to read it.
He literally follows them for a year.
Oh, my gosh.
Phenomenal. So, anyways, I got these, two dads, and we come over, look over the valley, and here's just these thousands of caribou coming. And so they're interesting. I know Sean mentioned this too, but I swear it's like they can smell. Where one caribou goes, 1,000 of them will follow the exact same trail.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of looking and figuring, okay, they're all going through that little drainage, the majority of them. And so I grabbed the two dads, and I'm like, come on, hurry, we got to go down here. And so we run down this drainage, and I'm making them hurry. Like, it's downhill, but it's probably a mile. And we've got a pretty good trail. And so we're jogging, and we get down there, and I can see a couple big bulls coming. And so this one big bull comes up and it crests the ridge, like right in front of us. And so I grab the first dad and I'm like, okay, I get him down on my backpack, and he shoots and just smokes it, just hammers this thing. And it goes down. Well, now the herd scatters. Like they're going.
Yeah. So
I grab the other dad and we run down the drainage to the river and we pop up on the bank, and these caribou are just flying past. And so I'm like, stop. Don't shoot. I'll tell you when. And I can see this big bull coming, and I don't know what made me think to do it, but I'm like, he's going to miss if it's running. And so I wait till it gets about 40 yards away, and then I run out in front of it, and I'm like, hey! And it stops. Like, this stupid freaking caribou stops and looks at me like, what are you doing? And this guy just smokes it. And so he shoots it, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't believe that worked. I can't believe you just shot. Like, we just killed two caribou. Caribou, they score pretty similar to an elk. And so like a 380 bull, you know, most of you guys know what an elk is, scores. And so both of these bulls were in the 380s. I mean, they're giants.
Word, yeah.
And so I'm so excited, and I run over, and I'm like high-fiving, and I grab this guy, and I hug him. And he's like, let go. And I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, no. He's like, dude, I had open heart surgery 4 days ago. And I go, what? And he lays down, and he holds his shirt up. He has the freaking staples down his chest. And I'm just like, holy crap. I'm like, hey, put your feet up. Can I get you some water? Do you need a blanket? Just like, in my mind, I'm like, I just killed this poor old man.
You just bear hugged him to death.
And his face is blue, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
My word.
So now it's funny whenever I guide someone, like I always talk about their gear and can they shoot.
Do you
and
have
then
open heart surgery?
Any surgeries we need to know about. But he got it.
My word.
Yeah, both of them killed giants. Yeah,
with staples in his chest.
Staples in his dang chest.
What is he doing?
Surgery. It was like, it wasn't 4 days. It was probably the week before, but literally.
If you have staples in your chest, it was plenty soon enough.
It's so bad. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I'll find it for you.
Word. Yeah,
I took a picture.
Awesome.
We got the bull in the background. He's holding his shirt up, and he's got this just line of staples.
Yeah, so if you're going to go hunt in Alaska, let your guide know if you've had any health issues.
I would advise not having open heart surgery before you
running a mile and smoking a caribou.
Yeah. Like, hurry, faster. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Good story.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Thanks, Tyrell.
He didn't die.
Hey,
got a caribou.
And he didn't die. It's awesome. Thanks.
You bet.
How did you do that? Thank you so much, Sean and Tyrell, for sharing those stories with us. And hey, comment below. Have you ever had some close encounters where you thought a bear was going to eat you? You got stalked by a mountain lion, something creepy that ended up not being so creepy? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, no open heart surgeries before you go to Alaska. Bye.